This is a movie that I saw. I was like, this is my name now. Because the movie was dope as fuck. It's very Lynchian in that sense. I'm 24, about to be 25. I was raised in Modesto, California. Born and raised.
My name is Mandy Lopez, and my pronouns are probably she, they.
Originally, when I first came out to my friends, I was maybe 17 or 18, and I knew that I was like, I'm a woman, I want to be addressed that way. I tried to experiment more with clothing and things like that, develop a sense of what makes me feel good. Typical stories, like I didn't always know, like I had to really think about it. It was really like, I don't know, I really had to think about it. There was a lot of things I had to unlearn and rediscover before I could get to that, make those judgments for myself. For me, I had to discover my identity through gender euphoria. What does make me feel good? I try to have it defined more in those terms, and that feels more real to me. But it's the more I discover and experience gender euphoria, what makes me feel that, the more I discover what gives me dysphoria. So that's interesting. So going one way makes me realize that all this other stuff was already there, I guess. Good art, and it's like tarnished now. This is cute. I love this stuff. Go here so that I could just rip the CD and have it digitally, because it is hard to pirate stuff if you don't know where you're looking. I just love music, electronic music. That's primarily what I DJ, is dance music. And I just, like, every time, an hour before I go to work, I'll just practice, and it's just really good. You put on Spotify, you put on the radio or whatever, and it's like you're passively sort of consuming music. But when I DJ, I really feel a lot more connected. I feel like an active participant in this music. I feel like I'm engaging with one of my passions in a more intimate way already. And that's really been fun. 1979 in Chicago, disco demolition night.
Now rapidly walking out the center field where the fire is burning.
Definitely established like this anti-black, queer sentiment. You know, disco is a black genre. It's for everyone, but it's a black genre, and passion and sensuality is at the core of it. And dudes are dressing a lot more flamboyantly, acting a lot more flamboyantly, and that all culminated in like the disco demolition night. People hated that black people were having fun, that black women were having fun. Women having fun that night sort of showed the nation, like, yeah, we hate disco, and it sort of fell off from the beginning 1980s. I mean, at its best, that rave scene is for queer people, by queer people, welcoming, safe. When I talk about the rave scene, I'm talking about these alternative kids. We're all looking out for each other, offered just like water, or like you can go alone and go make a friend for the night, just like accidentally.
The 50s brought us rock and roll, of course. In the 70s, it was something called disco. And now there's a new
1979 in Chicago, which is where house music was born, at this place called the Warehouse in Chicago, Illinois. That's why it's called house music. That the music was born in the Warehouse in Chicago. It was not quite disco, but it had the soul of disco. It was definitely like this. It was different enough, but also similar enough that the disco people could transition into that. And then it started to mutate. Got into electronic music in the 2010s, and that was when dubstep was really blowing up. You call any electronic dance track techno. You just called it techno. And then in the 2010s, any electronic dance, you called it dubstep. Then, growing up then, it was the electronic scene was not yet fully mainstream. And by like 2014, Skrillex and all those like him, this is not his fault, but it's all the frat guys and the tech guys and the rich people and the white crowd that started to take over what had started as this alternative subculture of queer, black and brown misfits, party animals. So the scene is sort of divided into people who are genuinely this alternative, transgressive subculture, and then the frat guys that just like to drink and do drugs and listen to crazy dubstep and all that shit. They were always welcome, but it's just people that come into a scene that don't bother to respect, to learn where it came from, what it stands for. Those are the people that basically ruin it for everybody. And sort of dilute what is the real heart of what keeps that scene going, what keeps it unique, and what keeps it special. Go into like the clubs and those bouncers have to pat you down or whatever. For some reason, I don't know why they would have different lines for this, but those are the girls line and then there's the boys line. I didn't know that this was going on, or maybe they had started doing this, so I got into the wrong line or whatever, and then they just gave me a hard time about it. I'm like, I don't know, I just need to get past the security. I have the ticket, I have everything. They just gave me the runaround, and eventually they let me through. And I was like, why did that have to be so hard? Why? Just the contempt on the other security guard's face, the confusion on the other guard's face. I was just like, why do you have to make it like that so hard? And then I see a guy in a bear costume come, and I'm like, what is this? This is not the first time. It's frustrating.
New Hampshire is now the 26th state to restrict or ban gender-affirming care, as Republicans seek to galvanize their base around the issue nationally.
I would love if healthcare was more accessible. I would have already been on it as soon as I realized. There are some people that were lucky enough to have started as young as like 13. And I'm like forever jealous of those, and and they were like on blockers before that or whatever, and I'm forever jealous of those. I'm super happy for them. I would have loved that. I would have loved to have them even at 18. But that also helped me to find my identity and realize that I was queer. I thought, do I still want to be like this in 5 years? Do I still want to be like this in 10 years? And then I started to get a little worried. I started to get a little scared. I was like, oh, I don't actually. You're on the clock. There's a timer going, and there's irreversible things happening to you. And the next best time is as soon as possible. That's my thinking. Yeah, Modesto, California. I try to like it. I'm very critical of it. It's definitely for the old timers, I think, the city. Because there are queer people here, but there's not space for them. There's not enough space for them. And I would love to see more of that, because it is magical to get to experience stuff that cis hetero people experience. For of the people that don't need to know, I think like it's a privilege to get to know me that way, so like I'm gonna withhold that from you. But if it was any other way, not transitioning, not accepting myself, I would definitely be worse off. I would definitely never know that it could be this good, that it could feel this right for me.
You can't have me any